everyone, and welcome to Port City Living, the podcast about life in Wilmington, North Carolina, and the surrounding area. I am your host, Bill Corbett, with Port City Living. I am a real estate agent, and I serve the greater Wilmington, North Carolina area. And my co-host is Brad Brown, a mortgage lender with Atlantic Bay Mortgage, and he serves the greater Wilmington, North Carolina area as well. Do you go outside of Wilmington, Brad?
Actually, I'm licensed in North Carolina and South Carolina, the entire state.
Excuse me. Okay, well, that's good to know. So you can do it anywhere.
Right.
So today we're going to give everyone a little quick history lesson about Wilmington. I thought that would be appropriate since everybody loves Wilmington, but do they really know how it all started and where we came from?
I'm going to say that's a no. I'm actually waiting for you to educate me.
I'm going to educate you.
Throughout
I'm going to give
today's
you a lot of information.
Okay, I'm ready. Bring it on me. Where are we even going to start today?
Where we're going to start with when Wilmington. Well, first of all, Wilmington is, and I looked this up because I didn't know. It's 5,359 square miles in size. So, as we may have mentioned in our previous podcast, I'm not sure episodes, Wilmington is. I like to say that Wilmington basically is New Hanover County because New Hanover County is the second smallest county in North Carolina. Wilmington takes up a large portion of the county, right. So when I say Wilmington, I just kind of think of New Hanover County. So it's not a big space, but there's a lot of people here.
There's a lot of people shoved into that.
We are crammed in, but we all love each other so much. Did you come up with the final numbers for the population? We can actually throw that out there really quick.
You know, what we find is that there's I guess with anything, there's going to be some differing opinions on what's out there. We've got 117,643 as of 2021.
And that's Wilmington.
And that's Wilmington. But as you read, they actually say that the last official record dates back to 2018. And so this is a U.S. Census deal where they're adding a percentage every year. So I don't know that 117 is 100% accurate.
Yeah, but and then for New Hanover County, which again is basically Wilmington, what I came up with was 229,018 people in the county. So
yeah, and I think that's also a 2018 or a 2021 number. But as you dig, it says nothing's official since 2018.
Okay, so at least that gives you an idea how many people are here in this area. Wilmington dates back to the colonial era or colonial period, the 18th century, and Wilmington was incorporated in February of 1739. That's really, really old. Really, really old. And, fun fact.
We're going to start a hashtag, fun fact.
Wilmington had, I don't know if it had or it was supposed to be named three or could have been named three different things. Do you know what they were?
Oh, no, I'm curious.
Sure
I do not.
One of them was New Carthage. One of them was New London. And the other one is Newton. So we could have been any of those three. And they settled on Wilmington. And that was because of, I can't think of the guy's name. I had it written down. But anyway, he was a Whig he didn't wear it, well, he might have worn a wig, but he was a Whig in the British parliamentary, and his last name was Wilmington, and so that's how Wilmington got its name.
I got to tell you, I don't love New Carthage. I'm glad they didn't go that route.
Sounds like New Cartilage.
I'm thinking Carnage. It sounds bad. It sounds negative.
Carnage, yeah, that's very true. And then also, I had heard this a long time ago, and I tried to research this and really could not find anything on it. But I was always told or under the impression that Wilmington, downtown historic Wilmington, was laid out, the grid of Wilmington was laid out on the same grid as Liverpool, England. But I couldn't find, this time around, I couldn't find anything about that at all, and I looked extensively. And when, back in the, I don't know exactly when it was, but I know back in the late 80s, early 90s, there was a burger place downtown on Front Street called Liverpool. And it had the best burgers. And when I went to the community college, late 80s, early 90s, we used to go there for lunch a lot. And unfortunately, it closed. But so that's kind of cool. But anyway, so Wilmington was incorporated in February of 1739. It played a crucial role in the Revolutionary War in 1776. The British occupied the city, but it was later recaptured by American forces in 1781. And the headquarters for General Charles Cornwallis was where, Brad? Do you know where?
I do not know any of these things.
It was at the Bellamy Mansion.
Okay.
And the Bellamy Mansion is probably one of the most significant architectural structures that I think we have in Wilmington, wouldn't you say? As far as house is concerned.
Yeah, it's pretty incredible and highly photographed with the fountain in the foreground.
It's right in what they call Keenan Square. Right beside it is the First Baptist Church, which is it's beautiful with this tall spiral up in the air. And then across the street, the opposite corner, is the Carolina Apartments, which has its own fame because the movie Blue Velvet was filmed in that building, or parts of it anyway. And then on the other corner was another grand building, but it was torn down, and there's a smaller brick building there now. But the Bellamy Mansion was built between 1859 and 1861 by Dr. John D. Bellamy, and it's at 503 Market Street. It is a Greek Revival Italianate home. It, like I said, served as the headquarters for General Charles Cornwallis, and it was restored in the 70s and 80s because it went through a period of time where it was really neglected. If you search online, you can see where it really looked rough. But it was restored in the 70s and 80s, and today it's a beautiful, beautiful museum, and it gets toured by many, many people that come to town.
Fun fact.
Oh, you have a fun fact?
I do.
Wow. Okay.
I've never been in the Bellamy
Brad,
Mansion.
I can't talk to you anymore.
I always say we're going to go, but I've never been.
Well, funny you say that because, I have the companion to this, which is my YouTube channel called Port City Living, and I'm getting ready to put out a video about iconic structures. And on my list, there are 2 structures that I have not been in. So if you want to see that, that'll be out sometime soon. But I have been in the Bellamy Mansion, and it's nice.
Yeah.
I mean, it's really cool. And the history behind it. They also, I don't know if they still do it or not, but they used to do jazz shows there out on the lawn. And we used to go there when I used to live downtown, so that's pretty awesome.
They had some evenings over the holidays where they were open and people just kind of came in and toured, and no charge from what I remember.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh. I don't know how much it is to tour it. I don't think it's that expensive,
No.
but it's kind of cool. But it's a beautiful home. Absolutely beautiful. Yes, and like you said, it's in Keenan Plaza, and right in the center of Market Street is that glorious mountain. Oh, fun fact about that.
Should we have called this Fun Facts instead?
We could. Wilmington Historical Fun Facts. So we know how the fountain is now, and we see it's like a couple of layers, and then the big fountain, the bowl in the center.
Right.
Did you know that it used to be one layer bigger, further out into the street? And because, back then they didn't need wide streets because it was horse and buggy, and then cars came along and the cars weren't that big. And then as cars got bigger, they realized that people were running into it, which they still do, even though it's bigger than hell. I don't know how anybody could not see that, but they still run into it. And so they took a layer away. If you'll notice, the little gargoyles at the bottom are there to spill water into the next level, but the level's not there.
I'm going to have to look closer now.
And if anybody out there knows more history about this or thinks that I'm wrong, let me know. I'd would greatly love to be educated myself if that is incorrect.
I mean, it's not like they can call in right now, right?
Well, that's true. We don't take call-ins, but we might one day. You never know. Wilmington also played a huge key in the Confederate post-Civil War. The city was the last major open port to the Confederacy, and it fell in 1865 whenever the Civil War was open. And I'm sure, Brad, you're familiar with Fort Fisher.
Oh, yes. Now, there I've been several times.
Fort Fisher is down So if you if you go down to Carolina Beach, which is the southern end of New Hanover County, and then you drive through Carolina Beach, you go through Curie Beach, and then it dumps you out at the very end. And Fort Fisher is down that way. And Fort Fisher was built, the earthworks were built to fight the Battle of the Civil War, and that was one of the last battles that was fought. And the earthworks that were built for the battle are most of it still there. There's like 10% left. Part of the earthworks were out where the ocean line is, but as things have changed and the ocean has taken over the land, those earthworks have disappeared over the years. But I did a video on that too. You can go to my YouTube channel and check that out. That's really, really good information. But it's really cool and really kind of sort of sacred to go and tour that museum and see where everyone perished during that war. But it was to save Wilmington, and it did a good job, I think. Yeah, so, and what are some of the other structures that are historic, Brad, that you like? Let's talk about Airlie, because it has to do with me.
Oh, well, now how does that have to do with you?
So, okay, Airlie Gardens, if you're not familiar with it, is a tract of land that is over near Wrightsville Beach. It was purchased by Pembroke and Sadie Jones back in 1886. And for those of you who don't know Pembroke Jones, we could probably do a whole podcast just on that story, on him alone. But he was a very wealthy man, and him and his wife owned basically all of the land that Landfall is on. And but he had this separate parcel called Airlie over on the Sound, and they built this massive home over there on that property. And in the 1950s, it was purchased by a branch of my family, the Corbett family.
Oh.
And before everybody gets too excited, I will tell you that the lineage is it's on the same tree, but we were on the dead side of the tree.
Okay.
So we were not on the side that flourished, but it is the same family, so that's kind of cool. And then when the Corbett family bought Airlie Gardens, they tore the mansion down in 1955, and they built a more modern, kind of a sprawling story-and-a-half type ranch, which that house is still over there today. That particular part of Airlie is now a neighborhood, but that house is still there, so it's kind of cool. And the Corbett family owned it until the 90s when they could no longer take care of it anymore, and so the city bought it, and now it is it's not really a city park because you can't really go over there. It's a, I guess, for-profit, you would say, park to go into, so you have to pay to see it, but it's quite gorgeous. It's beautiful.
Is it non-profit though?
I don't know. That's a good question. Does anybody know? If anybody knows, let us know, because I know you have to pay to go in. Even though I'm a Corbett, I still have to pay.
Yeah.
My little nephew is 12 years old, and he went on a field trip over there, and he let them know that he was a Corbett.
Yeah. And I don't think it's much to get in there unless you're going for the garden party every year.
And that's an event in itself.
Yeah. And then, you mentioned rather the mansion and being torn down and now a more modern structure, but what's still there is that amazing 400-year-old oak tree.
Yes.
That's pretty incredible.
That oak tree is synonymous with Airlie Gardens.
It is.
And with the garden party. It's just I mean, there's many trees over there, obviously, and the gardens are gorgeous, but that particular tree is the main feature of that garden. And if you haven't seen it or been over there, then I highly recommend. They do Enchanted Airlie at Christmas time, and I've never been able to go because the tickets sell out like quick as a wink.
Yeah.
Quick as a wink.
Yeah, yeah.
Or the oyster roast. I've never been to that either.
And pretty much everything we're talking about today, for anybody that's listening, Google image these places.
Yes.
There's incredible imagery of these locations that we're talking about right now.
I mean, the garden is, 67 acres? I mean, it's huge. And there's sculptures, there's fountains, there's, I don't know, it's just... It's just a big part of the Wilmington landscape, and if you're fortunate enough to go, then I highly recommend it. So, What else can we talk about with Wilmington? Oh, how about the oldest property in Wilmington? Do you know where that is, Brad?
I do not.
It is the Mitchell Anderson House, and that's on the corner of Front and Orange Street.
I'm trying to think what that one is.
It's right diagonal from the Little Dipper downtown on
okay.
Front.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, and that's one of the oldest houses or the oldest structure in Wilmington. And it was built, I want to say 1739, but that's about the year that Wilmington was incorporated. So I think that's about as old as Wilmington is. Again, if all you historians out there have different facts, then please let us know. But it's pretty cool. It's some kind of office now. It's not a private restaurant, a private residence. So Wilmington has deep history, and the thing about Wilmington is that even though it was invaded and it was taken over during the Civil War, we didn't lose a lot of our structures like some of the other cities. Like I'm told that Charleston lost a lot of their history, and fortunately we were able to keep ours all intact, so that's good. What did happen, though, later in years is that Wilmington did lose a lot of stuff in the 60s and 70s as people started realizing that, the historical downtown area was not really the best place to live, and people were starting to move out into the suburbs, which back then the suburbs is now the middle of Wilmington. But
that's right.
So Wilmington in the 60s and the 70s and partly in the 80s got neglected, and it really didn't go very well, and a lot of structures were torn down. Do you know that when you're riding down Market Street, when you get past like 16th or 17th Street, where Hanover High School is, when you get past Hanover High School, and then before you get into downtown, you'll notice that there's lots of emptiness, like there's nothing. That's because that whole section of Market Street from like 20th all the way into downtown was considered mansions on Market. And that section where that gas station is and all that stuff, that was huge houses that got either torn down or burned down or whatever. And it's just a shame.
Yeah.
And for those of you out there who want to see what used to exist, I highly recommend picking up Susan Taylor Block's. She's a local, or she was a local author here, and she collected a lot of information on not just about Wilmington, but some of the beaches and the history behind all these places. Her book, Cape Fear Lost, is outstanding. I have it, and when you flip through the pages and you look at some of the homes and some of the structures that no longer exist, it will make you cringe. It's unbelievable, some of the beautiful architecture and massive houses, especially on Market Street, that are no longer with us.
That's crazy.
It is crazy. I highly recommend Susan Taylor Block picking her books up and checking them out. But there's several other places in the downtown area that are historic, like the Customs House downtown or the Federal.
I mean, now if you're across the river and you look back at the downtown area, that is probably one of, in my mind, the most iconic. Just, it's incredible. And until recently, I had, as many people, have never seen the inside of it. But
you've seen it?
No, only just looking at some of the Google images, trying to prepare and see what's going on, and just, it is a really, really cool building on the inside, and the limited pictures that they've got on top of that.
Yeah, that's one building I've never been in either. It was built in 1840. It sits right on Water Street, so it looks right over the Cape Fear River. It's almost directly across from the battleship, not quite. But it is a Greek Revival architectural style building. And with the pediments and the columns, and it's just amazing. The Custom House, the building served as a federal facility for customs operations, and it played a crucial role in regulating and collecting tariffs on imported goods, reflecting Wilmington's significance as a port. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, don't let the word house fool you.
Yeah,
it's anything but a house.
It's a house. It's a Haus, a house. Big house. What is another significant thing that people should know about Wilmington? We talked about the Bellamy Mansion. That's one big one. Oh, the battleship, of course. That's
yeah.
huge.
Yeah.
Fun fact time.
All right.
So my mom is 75 years old. Sorry, Mom, for putting that out there. But she remembers when she was a little girl, and this was even in Pender County, they used to collect coins to help get the battleship here and get it in place. You know, so after it was decommissioned, is that what they do with the battleship? They decommission it. They moved it here to Wilmington and put it here on the river, and they dug out a space in the river for it to sit right across from downtown Wilmington, and it's one of our iconic backdrops for Wilmington. And the fun fact is that when have you ever noticed the way the guns point?
It's towards the city, isn't it? No?
They point away from the city, and they should have pointed toward the city because it should face the ocean, and it faces the wrong way. And I was told, and again, if I'm wrong, excuse me, somebody correct me, but I was told that it was put into place and then it got stuck and they couldn't turn it around and it just stayed there. So it's actually pointing in the wrong direction.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
So again, if I'm wrong, correct me on that. But
That's your fun fact, though.
that's my fun fact. It's backwards.
So, I've got a fun fact on this one, too.
Okay.
I'm a little bit of a runner. That was the first half marathon I ever did, was the Battleship half marathon.
And you ran it from, where's the Battleship half marathon? Where does it run to? It's just downtown, right?
Yeah, it runs over all three bridges. I guess there's technically two bridges and then a high road, but to me it's a bridge. All three bridges and out to Greenfield Lake and back. And I've run it multiple times, but they reoriented, I guess, the trail, the course one time, and they had just finished the boardwalk around the battleship. I don't know if you've been since they've added the boardwalk out there, but we had to go and run around the battleship and back out again, and they had a Marine Corps brass band out there playing in the middle of the run.
Oh, that's cool.
It was really cool. It was a good time.
I've been over to the battleship and on the fan deck. There's been several events on the fantail, overlooking Wilmington. But I've only been in the battleship once, and that was many, many, many years ago. But
you
it's
should definitely go
super
back
cool.
again.
Yeah. And at one point, the battleship used to show movies on the fantail, so they would pull the big screen up, and it was interesting because the screen was like see-through, and so when you were downtown Wilmington looking over the river at the battleship, you could see the movie on the screen, but it was in reverse.
Huh.
That's the coolest thing, and they didn't do that for very long. I haven't seen them do that in a long time
No,
either. But
I
that
didn't
was
even know
kind of
they
cool.
did it.
But the battleship's amazing. So that's something that everybody should definitely check out, and I need to go back over and check it out myself, for sure. Let's talk about Thalian Hall.
Oh, man. You know what? I actually just saw a show there.
Did you? Oh, the producers.
Yes, a few weeks ago. It was quite incredible. Talk about the architecture in the city, though. Once you get inside, that building is incredible. So what sort of fun facts do you have to lay on us about Thalian?
The Thalian, and I have them. Thalian was built in 1858, and it's one of the last pre-Civil War theaters like itself in the United States. And I want to say at some point it was in threat of being torn down. But so Thalian, for those of you who don't know, it's attached to our City Hall. So City Hall is quite impressive on Front Street. It's got the major Corinthian columns and the big flight of steps that takes you up to the front, and that's City Hall. And then the back portion is Thalian, and it was renovated several years ago. Well, I want to say 20 years ago now, but it was brought back to its original look, and it's just it's stunning. But there's been some. I did a video on that too, actually. So,
yeah, and it's stunning on the inside, like once you get in the theater, because it's so modern around it, right? Like when you go into the box office and the lobby.
Yeah, because the way it's attached to the back of City Hall, it comes off like a L shape, I guess, and then out in front of that, they filled in the L shape and they made a more modern version. So when you walk in, you come into this glass structure, but then you can see the original side of the actual building. Yeah. So it's pretty cool. But
once you actually get into the theater, you feel like you are taken back in time. you've just got to go see it for yourself if you haven't seen it yet.
It's quite stunning actually, and there's been some big names. Buffalo Bill Wild Cody was one of the entertainers on there. Agnes Moorehead from Bewitched has performed on that stage. I have performed on that stage.
Were you clogging?
I was clogging. It's quite amazing. So if you get a chance to go to Thalian Hall, I highly recommend it. I went there a couple of years ago, and they do a screening of It's a Wonderful Life on the main stage.
Frank Capra.
Yeah.
From here, right?
Well, he's not from here, but
Okay.
yeah. So that's pretty cool. But it's a stunning stage. Highly recommend checking it out, and check out the video. It's on my YouTube channel, Port City Living. Me and my friend Leslie did that like 3 years ago, and yeah, it's pretty cool. We talk about a lot more history than that, and so yeah, Wilmington is steeped in history and architecture, and you know what we could do is name some of the famous people that most of our audience might not know is either from here or has lived here once in their life at some point.
Well, who is the most popular, would you say, on the list?
Probably there's several sports people. I would probably say that Michael Jordan would be our most famous person from here.
I'd agree.
He moved here when he was 5. Fun fact. My dad worked for General Electric, which is a big company here. GE has a big plant here out in Castle Hayne, just outside of Wilmington. And my dad used to work with Michael Jordan's dad and knew him very well. So that's kind of cool. So Michael Jordan, one of the big ones. For those of you older and might remember the newscaster David Brinkley,
Yep.
He actually grew up here, was born here, and he is buried in Oakdale Cemetery. Oakdale Cemetery is a big historical place here too, because it's an old historic cemetery. It's a Victorian cemetery. It's quite impressive. My great grandfather is buried in there. For those of you who live here who don't know anything about it or have never visited, I highly recommend that you go over and just walk in, and just. I know walking around in a cemetery doesn't sound like the most pleasant thing to do, but it's actually quite interesting, because in the Victorian age, when they built cemeteries, they did it quite different than they do now. All of the places that people were buried were raised up, and then there was driveways or pathways that were lower. So people in the Victorian age would actually go over to these cemeteries like this and actually picnic and hang out, which sounds really odd, but that's exactly what they did back then. And now today you see cemeteries that are more flat, the lawn style type cemetery, and they have that part over there too. As time changed and they extended the cemetery, they went more to the lawn type.
Yeah.
But the original part of the cemetery is really cool, and it's over on 15th Street. It's outstanding. It's one of my favorite places to go.
And you recently did a YouTube on it as well, did you not?
YouTube video on
I
that as
saw
well.
that one. I saw that one.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. I did the history of it, and it's really kind of quite interesting. The president of the cemetery, and you can watch the video to get all the details about it, but the very first person to be buried in the cemetery once it was developed was his little daughter. She passed away very young, and she was the very first person to be buried in there. But anyway, let's see. Charlie Daniels
that's
is
a good
from
one.
here.
Yep.
What was one of his famous songs? "The Devil Comes Down to Georgia," or whatever
Yeah, it
it's
should have been
called.
North Carolina, right?
Something like that. Okay. Charlie Daniels. Roman Gabriel, 1969 NFL MVP. Roman Gabriel. Althea Gibson, who was a famous tennis player, and I had some friends that actually owned the home that she lived in, and the original tennis courts that her dad built for her to practice on were, I'm assuming they're still there. I'm quite sure they are, but they were still there on that property, and I thought that was really cool.
Yeah.
So she's one of the famous ones. Who else do you have on the list?
I just keep thinking about the people that lived here even temporarily while filming different TV series and shows and movies.
Yeah, because we have in one in particular, we have we have 2 big bridges here. The Memorial Bridge, which is also an iconic structure, I guess you could say. It's been around for a long time too, and that's when people think of Wilmington, they think of also the Memorial Bridge. But the other bridge on the other end of downtown, the north end of downtown, is called the Isabel Holmes Bridge. And I always like to call it the Katie Holmes Bridge because Katie Holmes lived here in Wilmington when she was filming Dawson's Creek, and amongst all the other stars, which were kind of cool. And I used to wait on her at the Gap. Fun fact, I used to wait on her at the Gap, Brad.
Yeah, so I actually call that the Maximum Overdrive Bridge because that's the bridge in the opening scene of Maximum Overdrive.
Never seen it.
Oh my gosh, it's a great killer movie, literally. But if you waited on or helped Katie Holmes, I assisted Michelle Williams
Yep.
at Sam's Club one day.
Oh.
Yes. Very
Sweet.
lovely before she made it really, really big.
And tiny. She's teeny tiny.
Yeah, she's a
really,
little one.
really short and tiny.
She's little.
But they're both stunning women. I think Katie Holmes is one of the most beautiful women on the planet.
And then my kids have trick-or-treated at James Vanderbeek's house.
Oh, nice.
When he lived here.
Yeah. I was on the last season of Dawson's Creek. I'm a star, people. You just don't know. I'm a star.
And then you got One Tree Hill.
No,
Not,
I wasn't on one.
no, I'm just saying. I mean, the people
you
that
got
were
One
here.
Tree Hill. Yeah, yeah. You got the people that lived here. Yeah, I never watched that show, hardly. I don't really. I know some of the people. As a matter of fact, I was out one night and I was dancing at one of the bars. This was a long time ago. And most of the cast was all hanging out together, dancing. We were all kind of dancing together on the club. You know, the thing about Wilmington is that that's one of the other historical things about Wilmington is that we have a movie studio here. It was Screen Gems for a long time. It was Carolco to begin with. And do you know the very first movie that was filmed in Wilmington in that studio, Carolco?
Was it Firestarter?
Firestarter with Drew Barrymore.
The
very first one. And then it turned into Screen Gems, and now it's something else. I'm not exactly sure what it is now, but you know, right now this is January 2024, and everything's kind of dried up. But hopefully the filming will come back at some point. And but yeah, so. The thing about Wilmington is that it's small enough that stars that are filming here can live here and enjoy a normal life.
Yeah.
You know, and not feel bombarded by people.
I might have our first retraction. It was
Oh.
not James Vanderbeek's house. It was Chad Michael Murray's house. That's where my kids went trick-or-treating.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, and let's see who else. President Woodrow Wilson lived in Wilmington from 1874 to 1882. That's a big one.
Yeah.
Do you know who he is?
The president.
A couple of others. Sonny Jurgensen, Hall of Fame quarterback, and Meadowlark Lemon of the Harlem Globetrotters. That's pretty cool. I think a lot of people don't know this. I didn't know that about Meadowlark Lemon. For some reason, I didn't know that. But
And there's also a host of celebrities who have owned property out on Figure 8 as well.
yes. Do you want to name? Drop? You want to name drop?
I can't. Their names are dropping. Like I remember there was a couple. Was it Christy Brinkley and her husband at one time?
I don't know. I only know one, and I'm not real 100% sure about that one.
And then Elizabeth Dole had a place out there, right? Once upon a
I
time.
couldn't tell you.
Yeah, but there's a few out there on Figure 8.
Yeah, Figure Eight's beautiful. Private island, north of Wilmington. But the person that I know that had a place out there, I think, was John Travolta.
Oh yeah,
And I'm not real sure about that. But and I actually, when he filmed Domestic Disturbance here in Wilmington, I think it was in 2000, I believe. And I actually got to meet him and spend a lot of time with him, and he was a huge delight. I really, really enjoyed spending time with him and getting to know him. So that's kind of cool. But yeah, so Wilmington has a lot of history, a lot of famous people who lived here and stayed here while they were doing whatever they were doing. Most of it's filming, but that's a good piece of history, and I think Wilmington has so much to offer where that's concerned, and of course we have. One thing we probably forgot to offer up is UNCW. That's a big deal here, too. Because, Wilmington, for those of you who don't know or have never been here, Wilmington is it's a beach town, obviously. It's a tourist town, and it is a college town. We have the University of North Carolina at Wilmington. When my aunt went there back in the 60s, it was called Wilmington College. Did you know that, Brad?
I did know that. I had an older cousin that attended during that time.
Yeah.
Yep.
So, and then it got incorporated into the university system, and yeah, that's a big part of people come here to go to school, and then they don't leave.
Yeah.
They make it work. But yeah, there's a lot going on here, a lot of history. And if for those of you who don't live here, or if you do live here and you don't really get into the history part, I suggest you dive into it because there's a lot of good information here, and definitely check out the Cape Fear Lost book. It's just outstanding to me. It's not big, but it just shows you what.
Should we say this is not an endorsement, by the way?
It's not an endorsement. No, not an endorsement at all. But yeah, do you have anything to add to the? We're gonna get. We love to get off on tangents for sure. But
yeah,
we're gonna talk more about the movie stuff down the road because there's been so many things filmed here that people probably don't know was filmed here. So we're gonna get off on that topic later down the road, and we're gonna talk about Airlie again because there's a topic that we're gonna discuss in April that happens every year. That's a really big deal for Airlie Gardens, and what else?
Yeah, I mean, this is those are the fun things for me. The movies, the celebrities, the events, the social side, the philanthropic side of Wilmington. That's where I have the most fun.
Yeah, and I enjoy the history part because
Yeah.
I do want to talk about Penn Burke and Sadie Jones again because they're pretty significant in this area for what they own.
Yeah,
and so that's pretty cool. But well, cool. Well, Brad, did we give them History 101? Did we forget anything?
And we might have crossed
forgot
the
a
line
lot
a
of
little
stuff,
bit into
actually,
102. But yeah, I mean, there's
will be a 102.
I think there's so much that we can probably always come back to and do like a part B or maybe even a part C on certain topics.
Yeah, but that kind of gives you an idea of how old Wilmington is, how long it's been around.
Yeah.
It was a big port back in the Civil War days, and it still is a major port. Oh, here's something quite interesting that people might not know. So the reason they call it the Port City, obviously, is because we're a port. But do you know the other 3 cities with names? Remember we talked about this the other day, remember?
I have a very short-term memory.
Okay, well, I'm going to tell you again. Wilmington's the port city. Raleigh is the capital city.
Well, yeah.
Greensboro is the gate city to the west.
Okay.
Just like, and then Charlotte is the Queen City.
I knew
because
that.
of Queen Charlotte.
Yeah.
So, it's kind of cool.
Okay, yeah.
So we're the port city.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Fun fact.
The more you know. Cool. All right, we're going to wrap this up.
Yeah,
Thanks for
take it
joining
home.
us. Take it home. Thanks for joining us this time. We greatly appreciate it. Go out there and be kind to everybody. And as always, if someone doesn't have a smile, Brad, what do?
You should give them yours.
Do it. Bye, y'all.